Hey guys, welcome to Reverse Engineering Songs with Mark. This is Take the A Train. So we're going to do harmonic analysis speed run on this one. Famous Billy Strayhorn song as performed by famously the Duke Ellington Band, of course. So it is a song that's happening in the key of C. And I've put these two sheets that are coming from the new real book. By the way, this is on Sure Publishing. I'm not affiliated. I just love these books. So all the information on Take the A Train I like to have hand in is, okay, it is in C major. The people's key. That's pretty easy, right? The second thing I like to do is look at structure. So we will, in a way, ignore the introduction because it's not functional. I think it's a great idea to learn how to play it. Whatever. But it contains chords that are just sort of non-functional, sort of augmented chords that I don't want to cover here because they don't fit necessarily in chord progressions. Great classic intro. We're just not going to analyze it. Now, the other thing I like to do is to think of structure. So, of course, it's 4/4, or it says C. So it's a swing tune. I've heard it play slow. I've heard it play medium or up. It really depends. I've heard it played in C, unless it's a singer asking to change that key. But typically, that's going to be the C. One thing we'll do, we'll look into the structure and the chord progressions, and then we will look into the melodic components of it just to see what kind of scales we could use, etc. All right. So the structure is as follows. So they say A, B, C. Personally, I prefer to call it A, B, A. You know, that would be my thing. So I'll write it like this. Why A, B, A? Well, I'll add a prime here. I'll say A prime, B, A prime. Because these 8-bar sections are identical except... No, let's put it this way. On the other screen, I removed the prime. So we have one here that's distinct. And it's the one that's used to go to the bridge. So it's a 32-bar form because each section is 8 bars each. So it's pretty simple to count, pretty obvious. Now let's get into the harmonic analysis. So I like to stab this on the screen and to make the bars very, very obvious to follow. So we're here. The key signature is none. So let's put it this way. And to see where we go. So we go from a C. I'm not even going to write C6 or whatever. It's a C chord, right? We go to a D7. It is a sharp 11. There's a reason why. Then we go to our good old 2 and our 5, and then we're back to 1 again. And then we could call it a turnaround of going 2, 5, and 1. And then it starts over. So that's our A section. And quite easily, it stays on 1. It goes on 2. More on that later. A little asterisk, little star. That's 2. So that's a 2 dominant. Those 3 are the real 3 chords for the 2-5-1. So the actual cadence. Again, if you don't know some of these terms, cadence, structures, etc., turnarounds, there's a link in the description below for an article on the blog called the No Nonsense Guide to Jazz Harmony, with terms and stuff defined by me, which is, okay, this is how the songs go, this is what we hear in jazz. So you can hit the link to have some of the terms and definitions. It's totally free of charge, of course, it's just a link to the blog. Good, so we have that structure. What I like to do is recall that the third time, it goes around, so that from that section here, all the way to that section here, the bottom of the song, it reads straight through, that's right after. So these two, this and this is exactly the same thing. Except when we get to the coda, well, we'll have the you know, the classic intro. Also, there's this part which is done behind solos. Sort of. So that's reminiscing the intro, but not everybody uses that. But that's interesting. It's an interesting arrangement portion. So the coda we're going to ignore because it happens once at the very ending. So all that to say that the first part and the last part are essentially the same. Cool. Okay. Now the second A is essentially the same, except I'm going to add 2 bars. So this is A prime. The rest of the same is the same, except that last bar. We go on a C, then we go on a C7. Aha. That's C7 here. Why do we go to a C7? Well, because the B section is going to F. So B, in big bold letters, has an F for 2 bars, for 4 bars actually in that lead sheet, and then it does again a 2, a D7, then it does a 2 and a 5, and we're back to 1. So that's 4, that's 2, and then that's 2, and 5 and 1. That 2 on a bridge for 2 bars is a classic. Oh, I'm writing this and you can't even see it. I'm sorry. Here. So A, second time it repeats, this ending is different. You get a C7. The C7 is the secondary dominant to F, so it's the 5 of F. Then we get 4 bars of F. Then we get that 2, dominant 2, again, for 2 bars, and then 2, 5, 1. That 2 for 2 bars is in so many songs in the jazz style. It's not even funny. It was a thing of the era, I'm assuming. So it's a really interesting way that it's there. So you see, on my scribbles on my screen, we are done analyzing the structure of it, in that we have all the juice. We get a section of 8 bars, second section of the 8 bars is the same. Then we get the C7. If you haven't encountered this concept yet, the concept is called secondary dominant. Super important. So seeing, I'm going to start with the primary dominant to let you know how this works. So the primary dominant would be if the target is C, you put a G in front of it, and the G7 is the 5, and then we're going to go to 1. So that's not a secondary dominant, that's a primary dominant. However, if I'm doing a song in the key of C, and I want to go somewhere else, I'll give you an example. I want to go to F. What can I do? I can put the 5 of F in front of F. So what's the 5 of F? F, G, A, B, C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a C7. So I'm allowed, quote unquote, to call this 5 of 4 and then 4. Meaning that I can set up that destination as anything I want. For instance, I could go to D minor. I could go to E minor. I could go to whatever other note or chord that is in that key, and I can set it up with a 5 before it. That's called secondary dominant. Super important. And in that case, it means I'm allowed to use a chord that it's not diatonic. So if you look at the chords in the key of C major, C7 is not in there. So it's a chord that belongs to F, but F is so close to C that we allow ourselves to go there. Note that we're going to 4 again. It's one of the moves that we have in blues and typical jazz songs and a lot of pop music. It just goes to 4 because it makes sense. All right. So we sort of deciphered the reason why we have 8 bars, then 8 bars. And then, we're going to go to F. And then we go back to the 8 bars. So the bridge is a nice little thing that's, it's happening somewhere else. It's in a different key. Let's just look at our I wheel, what it says. Yeah, same thing. 4 bars of F. I've heard versions of slightly different changes here. You can add diminished passing stuff and whatever, part of the arrangement. Good. See, this lead sheet is really clear. This is the first, and then the second time around we go here, but we go there. And instead of doing just a C7, like I put on that screen, see how instead of doing F is our target, I could put C in front. They also did G minor 7 to C. That's the 2 and the 5 of 4, which is our destination. So we're allowed to add a 2-5 in front of that, and we call this 2-5-1 or 2-5 interpolating. Cool. Meaning that if we have a lone, like on this chart, we have a lone C7, we're allowed to make it into a G minor 7 C7. Actually, really good piano players and guitarists will do that for us because it sounds great. Okay. What is left to analyze? So we looked at the bridge section and we went like, okay, it's 4 and then it goes 2 and 2-5-1. And we talked about the ending and the intro. The last thing I wanted to address and leave you with that is that chord, which is not so kosher. Harmonically, well, there's notes in the melody. That's sort of the hook, right? So that's a bunch of chromatic ornaments. So ba ba da, ba ba da da, ba ba da de, and then ba ba do be, ba ba da dee, ba ba do be. So it's sort of the same motif, but this is going up to 3 notes. This is going down 3 chromatic notes, and a leap like this. Look at how we get ba be ba ba be da 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 ba da be da ba do be de ba. So these two here are echoing each other, and then you find it a leap downwards, right? Ti da, and then in the B section, what do you get? Po da going up, pe bo da ba ti ba again, and then again up po da ti bo da ba ti ba. So I'd say probably that leap te ba. It's the song. The whole song is based on that. And I do believe that the intro is also based on that. We're driving the point home that we're using this interval of, my God, it's going down a It's going down an augmented fifth, if we want to call it like that. Sorry, it would be, yeah, going up a major third, so it would be like going down a minor sixth. Is that it? Well, it's no, let's put it this way. It's going down 3 whole steps. T, blah. Does that make sense? Sorry. Brain fart here. Hold on. Oh, wow, sorry. It's going down a major third, right? It's going down from C to A flat. Oof. In the introduction, at least. And then the leap is different as we progress through the song. So it can be a sixth or... Oh, almost had a heart attack. Okay, good. So now that we have this material, I just want to address that funny D7 flat 9. So sharp 11, sorry. This guy. There's a G sharp. G sharp does not belong in the key of C major, naturally. And we are wondering where it's coming from. So I love little riddle like this. So I'm going to put it here. And just so we know, we have really 2 notes that we need. We need an E and we need a G sharp, right? And we know we have a chord like this. That is, yeah, that's a G sharp note. And the chord name is, it's D9, sharp 11. Actually, the 9th, I think it's only used because it's part of the melody, which is the E natural, okay? So what I like to do is, if I want to deconstruct this and ask myself, well, what kind of notes do I need to build a D7 sharp 11, D9 sharp 11? So the D7, I need a D for sure. I need an F sharp for sure. Or else it will be a D minor. Interesting. I need an A because it's the 5th, right? So that's root, 3rd, 5th. And for it to be a dominant chord, I need a C, so it's a flat 7. Okay. So already I have that. And then they're telling me, on top of it, I need that guy, which is an E, which is our 9th, natural 9th. And then on top of it, it says sharp 11. So it means I need a G sharp. Okay. So far so good? Yeah. And now we're missing what would be the 13. It's not indicated, but I'm pretty sure it would be a B natural because that's the only note missing. Now we're going to say, well, this is like... What? Right? Oh, can't see this. Okay, sorry. You say, well, this is like C major, but we're 2 notes away. So people will start to hint, well, D7 is the 5 of G, right? So wouldn't it be like a chord that lives on the 5th degree of the G major scale? Well, no, look, can't be. We got a G sharp. So what key signature has 2 sharps? So we go, well, I know my key signature, so F and C, so that's key of D major. That's not possible because D major does not host, the first chord of D major is a D major chord. It's not a D dominant chord. So where are we with that? So I'll just invite you to think about this a bit parallel, okay? If we have key signatures of 3 sharps, Fa, Do, Sol, F, C, and G sharp, that's the key of A major. So we get all the notes of A major. So we get a A, a B, a C sharp, a D, an E, an F sharp, and a G sharp. So do you see that? This is exactly the same minus this guy. We get a C sharp that we can't have as a C sharp because our dominant chord here requires that note on the C. It's required that you have that note for it to be a D dominant chord. So we say, well, if it would have been the 4th chord of A major, it would have been a D major 7, sharp 11, or whatever, like a D Lydian sound. You still with me? Good. So check this out. If I take all the same notes and I change that to a C natural, super important, and I keep everything else the same, we call this A melodic minor. That's the punchline. So in A melodic minor, you get the same 7 notes as A major, except the 3rd is flat. So what we can say, now you see how I reconcile this. So what we have on the previous screen, these notes here, like all the stuff that I drew, actually I was just drawing A melodic minor all along. Look, they're the same notes. A, B, C, D, E, F, G with an F sharp and a G sharp. So people can say, well, I know my natural minor. How do I go for it? Well, you know, it's that scale that has a minor third, but has a natural sixth and a natural seventh in it. That's melodic minor. And in it lives exactly that chord we've been looking at in the song. Okay? So it gives you a pretty good indication of which scale you're playing on, because people will say, well, now I'm in C major, and now I'm going to go to a D, to which I'm going to do a sharp 11. It's like, no, you don't have to think about that, because look at that. If you're in the key of C major, you get C, D, E, F, G, A, B, right? And now while you solo, all you got to do is go, well, I got to be careful. I want an F sharp and a G sharp. And hopefully you can do your A. I'm going to write MM. It's A melodic minor. You can do your A melodic minor work as well. Scales and positions and whatever in arpeggios, and know that melodic minor is pretty friggin' significantly important, because it's everywhere in jazz. Even though people only talk about Aeolian and whatever, melodic minor is everywhere. And then you get that sound, and then for free you get a D7 sharp 11 sound, and it just happens that the melodic content, like the G sharp in the, whoops, drawing my face. The G sharp in the melody indicates that, and then the fact that it's a dominant chord indicates we need an F sharp. So it's like these two notes, I did not make this up, guys. I'm just following what the song says. This is fourth mode A melodic minor. This is what the song tells us. How is A melodic minor close? Well, C major and A minor are relative. So it's not that far off. All right, so that's it for this song, Reverse Engineering. Thanks, guys, for coming to this video. Please like and subscribe. And one small comment and tip, or should I say small request, if there's any other song you'd like me to cover like that, any other harmonic movement, a trait, a chord progression you've heard, or something you hear is like, what's that going on? Could you analyze it? It's going to be a pleasure. Just write it in the comment below. Write any of the questions you have. Please like and subscribe, of course, so you're aware that we're publishing these new, you'll get a notification with the new songs reverse engineered, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Thank you.